Welcome here at Casa de Luz, and hello to everyone there on Zoom this morning. We're so grateful to have you all with us today. I'm Teresa Tia, and I'll be your platform leader for this morning. We have our lesson today coming from the lovely Jean Lein. And we have a visiting musician today is Kyle Judd. He's going to be joining us, so thank you for being here. And now I'm going to invite Jean up to say a prayer, an opening prayer.
So let's all close our eyes if it's comfortable, if not, a soft gaze, and take a breath deep in the belly. I'm just so grateful this morning to recognize that there is this one presence, and it's showing up as each of us here in person and those of us online. That this essence is life itself. It is that grace that encompasses all. It is the source of all. And it is forever expanding and loving. And we are that. We are the thing itself. That source of love and that source of grace, that creative nature, that's who we are. So in this awareness, all of our energies together, now present and even in the future, who have anything to do with this service, our energies together create the most beautiful service, one that is uplifting, one that is close to our hearts, that opens something there, that allows us to see ourselves perhaps in a new way. That everyone contributing to the service is doing so with such an essence of love and high holiness. We're grateful for all of this and for the wealth and the beauty of all of life and of this beautiful Unity Heart of Austin. In such gratitude, we let it be, and so it is. Amen.
Amen. Oh, thank you, Jean.
Thank you.
Okay, so now I'm going to invite Kyle up to do our opening song.
We all know what this is. We are glad we are all here. We're glad that you're here. I am glad you are here. I'm glad you are here. I want to share my love with you. I'm glad you are here. I'm glad you are here. I want to share my love with you. For we are one. We are one. We are one. We are one. For we are one. The family of God. For we are one. We are one. For we are one. We are one. For we are
Thank you, Kyle. That was like the perfect song for today because we're talking about respect and we're really talking about self-respect. So way to go there. And the question I have about this is, would you say you respected yourself? I think most of us will say, yeah, I'm pretty good. But maybe if we took a deeper look at ourselves and within, we would find that there are really ways that we don't. That on a deeper level, perhaps we don't. Perhaps we feel unworthy of getting mega good in our lives. Perhaps we do things because other people think that there are things that we should do. And we value their opinion more than we value our own. There are many ways in which we can disrespect ourselves. We're going to be talking about that and then also about what we can do about that. Another way we disrespect ourselves is just by listening to what others say and valuing their opinion more than we value our own. So I'm taking a lot of information today from Wayne Dyer's book, The Power of Intention. And he speaks of intention as an invisible force in the universe. It's not like a goal I'm going to set. It's like this invisible, inexhaustible reservoir of energy that's forever creating. And it's in everything. It's present everywhere. There's nowhere where it's not. It can't be divided. There can't be a place where it's lacking. The only way you can deactivate this power of intention is by believing you're separate from it. Yeah. See, he knew that without me telling him. So, yeah. So what might intention have to do with self-respect? What might it have to do? Well, when we think about where we came from, I'd like to read this thing that Wayne Dyer tells us. He says, here's the simple truth. You did not originate from a material particle, as you've been led to believe. Your conception at the moment of your parents' blissful commingling was not your beginning. You had no beginning. That particle emanated from the universal energy field of intention, as do all particles. You're a piece of that universal mind of creation, and you must see God inside of you as you, and view yourself as a divine creation in order to access the power of intention in your life. Wow. See, a lot of us think of ourselves being created, that blissful commingling, as he mentioned, and there's the first cell, and okay, that's where we come from. But Dyer is saying, no, you had no beginning, because you just emanate from this invisible field that is everywhere present. Some people even call it the presence, right? So when we're here, when we love and we trust ourselves, who we are, then we're in alignment with this power. We're agreeing that the wisdom of creation which created us is all good. But if we don't love and trust ourselves, we're not following that. Instead, we're being driven, you might say, by that pesky little ego. You might call it protective personality. So, will we ever get away from it? No, it serves a purpose. It does serve a purpose. But the ego really is the one responsible for our feelings of self-doubt. It is the one that keeps us having low standards for ourselves. It says, oh, you can't have that. This is your level here. You can't have that. And it would have us measure our worth by our accomplishments, what we've done, or our acquisitions. He who has the most toys when they die wins, right? Whether people value us in the way that we want them to value us, that's the ego right there. It's always looking outside of itself for some recognition that I'm okay. I'm really okay. I mean, who says we have to just be okay, right? I mean, aren't we magnificent? But the ego says, well, it'd be great if I was okay. See, the ego believes that we're separate. We're separate from others. We're separate from all the good that we want to have in our lives. That's why we have to work hard for it. And it believes that we're separate from the presence, from God, from intention. And when we're separate like that, then we, it puts us in competition. If you're different than me, then I have to win in order for me to feel okay about myself. And it doesn't have to mean, it doesn't have to mean like on a playing field. I mean, I enjoy a good football game or a good baseball game, so I'm not talking about that kind of competition. I'm talking about the one where we, just in talking with someone, I might feel like, well, you have to understand my point, though. You know, enough about your point. What do they say? We have to somehow get the last word in. That kind of competition, and when that happens, we're either winning or we're losing, right? Well, every time we're losing, then our self-esteem takes another hit. But see, we don't want our self-esteem to be whipsawed like that, up or down or up or down. No, our self-esteem should be a constant for us. We should know that we are absolutely this wonderful presence. See, when we're looking outside of ourselves for our validation, we're in a lower level of energy. And this lower energy is never really going to hold us up. It's never going to tell us what we really are. You know, we'll in this lower energy, we're going to send a message to the universe that says, I'm not worth like a cupful. I'm just worth like a teaspoonful. And then the universe is going to say, oh, well, I had a cupful coming towards you, but here, I'm going to reduce that down. So here's your teaspoon. See, how we feel about ourselves is what we receive back. Now, the antidote to this is to make a commitment, an inner commitment, that I am going to respect myself. I'm going to feel worthy of all that life has to give me. See, when we disrespect ourselves, we're not only disrespecting the magnificence of God's creation, which is what we are, but we're disrespecting the presence itself, because we are that. It's like we read in that beginning reading that everything is made out of that. So if we disrespect any part of it, we're disrespecting it. And self-respect, it should be a natural state for us. The animal kingdom, take it for example. There's probably not a raccoon out there that doesn't feel it's worthy of everything it's going to get. And I was thinking, yeah, my little dog Minnie. She's with me in the kitchen, right? She knows what she's worth. She's worth anything that falls on the floor, anything, and she doesn't have to say, "Oh, there's that. I wonder if I'm worth having that thing." No, it's gone before I even turn around. She knows that she is worthy of all that falls on the floor. No question. It's hers. So why should we limit ourselves when we have this abundant universe that is forever providing for us, and we say, oh, I don't know, that's a little too good for me. Maybe I couldn't have that. This happens with salaries. It happens with love interests. I mean, there are many ways in which we can say, oh, that's just a different level than what I'm at. That's a limitation. It's a lack of self-esteem, lack of self-respect. And what we think of ourselves is really what we think of the world. If we judge ourselves as to, I'm just not up to that, then there are going to be people that we say, oh, this person isn't up to that, or that person isn't, or I'm over this person but under this person. And how could we judge the world? I mean, think of the universe dealing with us. If we're saying, oh, this thing is contemptible out here, how do you expect that the world is going to want to serve us if we're pushing it away? So we want to be in alignment with intention, with this field, this energy field, unified energy field of intention. And in order to do that, we have to be like it. And it is the presence of love. It is the presence of beauty, kindness, receptivity, infinite abundance. So we want to act in those ways in order to be in alignment with it, so that we can have everything that we're that we're destined to have here and to be. One of the biggest mistakes we make, and one of the greatest causes of lack of self-respect, is thinking that what I am really depends on the opinions of other people. If you're a mother, what are they going to think? I'm a terrible mother. I mean, who might have thought that? Or, well, I wouldn't say people think, oh, what if they think I'm a terrible driver? Most of the time I think, oh, I'm glad I didn't get in an accident. but if there's a cop on the road, oh, what's he going to think of me driving 5 miles over the speed limit? But there are other ways in which really we value the opinions of other people, what they might think that we want to do. And if we're thinking about self-respect, think of the word. It's not other respect. Self-respect doesn't come from others. It comes from ourselves. What do I think of myself? What do I think of myself? Remember, we originated out of this unified field of the infinite. If we think any less of ourselves, we're disrespecting ourselves. And then when we do that, we're in this low level energy, and we're more likely to disrespect other people, to have judgments, to be in hostility or greed, or judge them as being like that too. And then, of course, we'll get more of the same, because what you put out is what you get back. And I learned once, somebody told me early on in recovery, somebody told me, they said, Jean, half the people are going to like you and half of them won't. Oh my God, that was like huge news to me, because I thought I had to make everybody like me. Right? But then that's like, okay, some people will and some people won't, and that's just the way it is. Now go about your business. It was a relief, because they're just opinions, and they don't keep me in that negative energy. See, sometimes when I even think someone has a negative opinion about me, I'll get in this low level of energy, and then I'll judge them back. Well, what if they just had something that they were contemplating and therefore they didn't smile? It's probably what's happening there. But see, every time I judge someone else, then I'm getting in that place where I'm in a state of being not loving. I'm not in that higher level energy. Because this field of intention is extremely high energy. It's at a high vibration. And we want to do everything we can to stay up at that level. And our judging others just doesn't put us there at all. Gerald Jampolsky says, when I'm able to resist the temptation to judge others, I can see them as teachers of forgiveness in my life, reminding me that I can only have peace of mind when I forgive rather than judge. There's that forgiveness word again. Jesus, the Christed being, told us, that was a big thing for him. Said it all the time. And you can see that on different levels, but basically it means don't hold any negative energy within yourself. That's really what it means. Don't hold it. It will bring you down, and then your world will reflect that. So, instead of judging others, we send them a silent blessing. We hold forgiveness in our heart with them. And this clears away that which would pull us down energetically. I have some tools for us to be able to practice being at a higher level of self-respect. And I like acronyms. So I have an acronym for today, and it's BOSS, B-O-S-S. And you can think of it however you like, but when I was putting it together, I thought, oh yeah, You are not the boss of me. I am the boss of me. So that's the self and self-respect, right? So the B stands for know that you belong. Let's take a deep breath. Know that you belong. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say, I just feel like I don't fit in. There's something just a little different about me, or maybe I'm not, maybe I don't do things the same way these people do. I'm different. It's almost, I've even heard people say, I feel like I'm an alien and landed on the wrong planet or something, because we feel like we don't belong. But you do belong. Every one of us belongs. Remember this infinite field that we are made of. Its intention. That means it intended for each one of us to be here on purpose. And it also means that we're all equal. We're all made of it. We all come from the same place. We're made of the same stuff. And so that means also that we're never alone. Never. Never. When you believe you're separate, you can be alone. But when you know you're not separate from anything, you can't. Pat McMahon is a radio talk show host in Phoenix, Arizona, and he was blessed to be able to interview Mother Teresa. And he was just dying to do something for her. He said, please let me do something for you. Anything, let me do it. And so she finally looked at him and said, okay, tomorrow morning, you get up at 4 a.m. and you go out onto the streets of Phoenix, and you find someone that believes he's alone, and you convince him he's not.
Wow.
Wow is right. I mean, a spiritual giant said, tell somebody they're not alone. This feeling like we belong, it's fundamental. If you know the chakra system, it's the root chakra. I belong here. Belong is the B in boss. I belong, I'm not alone. Now the O in boss stands for others. And perhaps the greatest secret of self-esteem is to respect other people more. Now this doesn't mean more than yourself. It doesn't mean, okay, I'm worth this much and you're worth this much more. It doesn't mean respect others like that. It means just do more respecting of others. Do more of it. To respect others more. It's the way we do that is to see the unfolding of the presence in them. To see who they really are. Not who they are on the outside with their own ego doing what it does, but who they are on the inside. Send out respect because that's what you have to give away. There's a line that says you can take abundance from abundance and still have abundance. And it's the same thing with respect. If we respect ourselves enough, I can respect 20 people and still have plenty of respect for myself. See, if instead we send out judgment, then we're not actually defining the person, we're just defining ourselves as a person who needs to judge. So, now part of respecting others also means clearing up anything that's between you. In 12-step programs, they call that making amends. It's a huge step. I think Jesus, the Christ being, called it forgiveness. But whatever it is, clear it up. Even if there's something between you and someone that you feel like, well, maybe I've looked at my part, but also there's a part where I was really right about this. Well, that's okay. You don't have to say everybody's wrong, but you can at least have a loving and kind attitude towards them. clear up that messiness of the anger or the resentment. Clear it up. Respect them as someone else who's just growing in this unified field. Respect others. That's the O. Takes a lot more courage to make amends, and takes strength of character to do that. So the SS in boss stands for the self and self-respect. And I've already mentioned that it's not other respect, it's self-respect. So in order to do this, we have to recognize that the opinions of others toward me are not facts. They're just opinions. And if you put 50 people in a room, there are going to be 50 different opinions. So what? Does that have to impact me? It doesn't. It's just an opinion. We can't be responsible for what other people think of us. I might have had a mother that struck me odd in a certain way, and then I look at you and it's like, oh my gosh, you remind me of that mother. And so then all of a sudden, I don't even know it, but I have an opinion of you. Has nothing to do with you. Nothing. So we can't be responsible for how they view us. That's their thing. The only thing we can be responsible for is our character. Now, if I'm doing something that hurts someone and they have an opinion about me, that's something I want to attend to. But I need to assess that within my own character. Am I someone who wants to hurt others like that? That's for me to take upon myself to do some correcting if I'm in that place. See, this is not about ignoring what we've done or who we are. It's about building up our character to know the very fundamentals of who we are as that presence. Now, if you have difficulty remembering the self, oh, it's my opinion of myself that matters. If you have difficulty with that, or difficulty generating some self-respect, stand in front of the mirror and say, I love me. Now, what happened? I bet right then the ego said, that's a silly thing to do. or the ego might have said, you're just trying to puff yourself up bigger than you are. Or it might have said, you're trying to be better than other people. That might have even sounded like the voice of your mother. See, why wouldn't you stand in front of the mirror and say, I love me? You are the presence of the living Almighty. Love it. Love it in all of its expressions. Love it every way that it is. Because that's all it is for us. That's all it has for us. So, remember the S, the self in self-respect. We have to do it. We can't rely on others. So once again, boss. You are the boss of you, right? I am not the boss of you. The B is you belong and you're not alone. The O is respect others and clear up anything that has anything that's impeding a beautiful relationship with them. And the SS stands for remember the self in self-respect. Wayne Dyer had this to say. He said, your level of self-regard must come from your knowing within yourself that you are sacred. Let nothing shake that divine foundation. Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to invite Kyle up to do our meditation song, and then afterwards Jean's going to lead us in a meditation.
As we settle in with that divine music that we heard, and settle in with the knowing that we are also that divine. We might take a deep breath, deep in the belly. Deep in the belly, where we connect with that root of our beingness that says, I belong. I belong. And we breathe that in. We let that breath travel throughout our entire beingness to wake up every cell and wake up every part of us, our emotional, our mental, our spiritual being. It says, yes, I belong. I am here. I am supposed to be here. The universe rejoices that I am here. That out of this infinite sea of infinite possibilities, at this point in time, physical, to do something that is mine to do something that no one else can do exactly like me. Of course, I'm different because I have something special to do. I need to have a beautiful little voice that no one else has. Beautiful little footsteps, and I have to have my own beingness and awareness, experiences, because simply this is that intention, that field of intention, getting to know itself more, getting to be itself in all of its expressions. Yes. I am here on purpose, with a mighty purpose. I belong. So let's take just a few moments quietly to ourselves to let that sink in. And then silently, perhaps to ourselves, we might say, and I love me. And I love me. We breathe that into our bellies, perhaps letting that feeling of love course through our entire being. This is our true nature. This is the self that is that which is respected. And it is all that we truly are. So stand in it. Sit in it. Know it for yourself. Take another deep breath in the belly. And in gratitude and great joy, whenever you're ready, just open your beautiful little eyes.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as Creator, in oneness all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me, let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you, God. So I'd like to invite everyone to stay for Conversation Cafe.